boy. Okie dokie. I said I think we are live. Let's double check here. I think we should be good to go. Wait, what the hell? Why is it showing us up as a upload? It should be on my channel here as a live feature. The frickety frock, man. I don't understand why it's not showing up as its own thing. It's showing it up as a upload. An upload. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're good to go. It is showing up as live now. Fabulous. All right, so before we get started, let me pop out my chat here. And then we'll scroll back up. Let's get my chat. There we go. Okay, I think we're good to go. So welcome everybody. This is my Guild Wars 1 Prophecies campaign, like I was talking about. If you joined me last night for my Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction campaign, I said I was going to stream today. I'm streaming a couple hours later than I wanted to because I was sitting there thinking like late morning, really early afternoon. I didn't get around to doing that because I went ahead and did a few things in the game that I'll explain in just a moment. That took some of my time. I also want to say, let's actually jump back into our game here, first of all. I went ahead and reviewed my first introductory video for the series, and I know I misspoke a few times. The one thing that I really wanted to make mention was in pre-searing, there is that whole end sequence there where you have to kill Vatlaw Doomsinger or whatever the hell, the level 5 Char Ranger. The more I thought about it, I actually remember doing it on a character or two. Okay, so that wasn't brand new. It had nothing to do with being level 20 or having the Legendary Defender of Ascalon title. But that was definitely added in later because my very first character, actually my first couple of characters, I remember starting off in pre-searing, and it did throw you into the arena to fight somebody else before you went into post-searing. So that was changed eventually, but that's pretty old school. The whole fighting of the Vatlaw or whatever, the Char boss at the end. That's not nothing. That isn't anything new. That's nothing unique to it. So I just wanted to make sure I cleared that part up. But otherwise, I just want to give you guys a quick heads up. If we zoom out here, what I did in the meantime since that point is basically I just went ahead and started exploring. I wanted to get a little bit of map completion here. If you take a look. Oh, you know what? I should probably move my whatchamacallit, my actual webcam. I'm thinking that's probably the best place for it. If you guys think that there's probably a better place for my webcam, the face cam, just give me a shout out and let me know. But otherwise, I think that might be the ideal spot. Okay, so anyways, what I did was I just went ahead and explored the area, tried to get some map completion. I did complete a bunch of the early quests. I don't really think a lot of them were really that unique. The only ones that are probably worth your time in watching was there was an exchange between Rurik and King Abaldurn, I think his name is, over here. Basically, King Rurik is looking for the White Mantle of Kryta help. The White Mantle is a group, if we zoom out, is over here in the Kryta territory. And they were kind of the sworn enemies or something like that, or their rivals of Ascalon over here. And the king didn't like that. And then there's some sort of ambassador, Kryta ambassador that over here, I think it was Ambassador Jane or something like that. I finished up that quest. That was probably the one quest that might have been actually worth, recording it. But I went ahead and recorded some of them. I have not touched any of the missions because I feel like if I'm going to be doing this and doing story-related elements, I was going to leave that alone. I also want to give you guys the heads up that I went ahead and I ran all the way through Post-Searing Ascalon, all the way through the, I guess what would technically be called the middle Shiver Peaks, even though Prophecies considers this the northern Shiver Peaks. So if we zoom out of the map here, you've got the southern Shiver Peaks down here, and then the northern Shiver Peaks, or the far Shiver Peaks, and this is all part of the Eye of the North campaign. And this area over here is all technically the north Shiver Peaks, even though, strictly speaking, this is the northern Shiver Peaks. So if I refer to the northern Shiver Peaks, that's what we're talking about over here. Otherwise, I might just call them the middle Shiver Peaks. But anyways, I ran all the way from here just so I can get down to Lion's Arch. I do want to say that as of right now, the Chinese New Year is approaching, and the way Guild Wars 1 actually celebrates it is by doing the Canthan New Year event, and that's still kicked off right now. I mean, you have to go through all of the major port cities like Lion's Arch and Kaiying Center and Kamadan in Nightfall. So I went ahead and did that. The reason why is I just really wanted access to things. So I have access to everything now. I went ahead and took care of the Eye of the North Center earlier, and that's what the Ashura Gate here is. But the other reason why I wanted to do it was not only just to screw around with the festivities, but I really wanted a couple of heroes, because some of the heroes don't actually join you at level 20. They join you at like level 15, like Elias and Zenmai. So I figured it'd probably be best to have them in our party. So that's what I did. And we have these 4 people. Actually, I have Vox and I have Vec as well. And then I went ahead and took care of their skills. So as far as my skills go right now, I didn't really do too much. I went ahead and bought a whole bunch of Sickness of Catcher for later on. I don't really need them now. I did have a bunch of leftover like Elementalist and Mesmer tomes to go ahead and fill out some of my skills here. I still have a bunch of tomes left, so I could fill in more skills. My skills right now are pretty much just kind of whatever for the moment. I mean, until we're able to actually really start a build with elite skills that I don't have right now. I think I might have a couple of Elementalist elite skills, but that's about it. But we're pretty much domination focused here. I've got Lightning Javelin, Cry of Frustration, Clumsiness, Conjure Phantasm, a Natural Signet, Empathy, and then Backfire. It's pretty standard, kind of like an interrupter build, somewhat speaking. But I also wanted to include a little bit of damage in here. I've got the Glyph of Restoration just in case I needed quick heals. But now that I actually have Mr. Ogden's Stone Healer, I don't think I actually need that. I could probably put something else on. Matter of fact, I probably should. And then the Conjure Phantasm, it combos really well with Unnatural Signet, and it just helps out with damage. And I'm thinking there's probably something else that I should do about like energy management. But I'm not sure. I'm not going to really screw around with it too much. I'll probably look at that some other time. We'll just leave it alone as is. And then these other guys, what I did is I just went ahead and Googled like, hero builds, and then took the template code and kind of filled it in. So I have all the monk skills, at least I'm pretty sure I do. And the assassin skills, pretty sure I have all those. At least I have all the elite skills from Nightfall. And then I absolutely have all the necromancer skills. So that's why I have these builds. So if you guys don't know how to do that, basically when you go into your skills screen, you can go into this little like 3x5 floppy looking icon. And if you go into a template code, and this is this template code, right? And that'll be this specific build. And I already have a list of them. So if we go load from template, I have a list of them. It's really handy if you really want to share your builds with somebody else, or if you're trying to take a build that you found off the internet and you have the code for it. As long as you have the skills, it'll fill it all out. So that's what I've got here. Zenmai and Elias are level 15, so we're hoping to possibly level them up. And yeah, I think we're good to go here. Let's pop out my little miniature elf. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, I've already finished a bunch of the initial quests, or at least, a number of them. I'm pretty sure I still have a bunch of them. I got a bunch of these primary quests. So here we go, in the Ascalon quest. Those are the ones that I really need to actually finish up. We can close some of these other ones out because I'm not going to be doing them. Kryta quests, we don't really have to worry about that for a while. Battle Islands, Northern Shiver Peaks. Actually, yeah, these are technically Northern Shiver Peaks. That's what I was talking about before, like in Yak's Bend territory and all that. So I'm not going to really think about completing. Well, actually, you know what? Before we get started, I think kind of as an introductory type of thing, we'll go ahead and say fuck it and complete some of these quests. Why don't we do that? That sounds good. And as far as my equipment goes, since I started the Eye of the North campaign, I did record it, by the way, so there isn't going to be any content that lost, but I'm not going to actually have the Eye of the North campaign for a while, obviously, because I'm doing Prophecies right now. But I did go ahead and buy the armor. So we got the top tier armor for Mesmer, which is armor class, or armor rating 60. It's not the most impressive looking armor, but we could fix that later on. I think when we get to like the underground grotto, there's a few other places that actually have like the what is it, the prestige armor, where you have to have some of the rare crafting materials to actually make. So that's what we'll do. We'll wait until we actually get to that point, but right now we're good to go. As far as my items, I mean, I've played this game many times before, so I'm going to have like some pretty decent like items. So that's why I have the Bison Cup here, and the Luminescent Scepter is part of like the bonus item group that I have, and it's working out for me right now. Unfortunately, I would really like a domination focused scepter or wand or whatever, but we'll look at that later. Actually, there's a couple of green items. So the way it works, if you're a Diablo 2 player like I am, the gold items here can be unique, but green items are also unique. Green items aren't set items in this game. There are no set items. The blue are just regular magical, purple is like your rarer magical, and then gold is like your even rarer magical items, and the gold can have like inscriptions, they can have all these other modifiers and things on them, but it's just really a mark of rarity. But gold and green, some gold items are unique, and then I know that's confusing, and then green items are definitely unique. Those are dropped by very specific bosses and whatnot. And there are two. There's like the Camille's Scepter that I need, which I think is either in Factions or Eye of the North, and then there's shit, there's another scepter out there that I actually really needed, but I don't remember what. All right, let's go to Pike Square, yeah, and then we'll turn in this quest here. I do want to pay attention, because when you do complete some of these quests and whatnot, they do give you sometimes specific rewards, and some of these rewards are the reward items. You do want to pay attention to those. Some of them are kind of necessary. There's a quest over here, I think in Pike Square, where you have to like go into one of the missions and take a look at the monuments. And the quest rewards give you this thing called the Grim Cesta, which is a focus item, which would be kind of like this Bison Cup here. And it gives you like minus 50 hit points. And you think, well, what the hell are you going to really want something that gives you negative hit points? And it's part of a build. It's part of like the whole, what was it, 55 monk? I already have one. It's not that big of a deal, but you should pay attention to these sort of things. Okay, so there's that one quest. I don't think we need to do the primary quest for now. I think we really want to focus on some of these Ascalon quests. But see, your fires in the north, right? So that's going to be way the hell over there. I'm not going to worry about that yet. Shalev. Okay, so we'll go to Sartalak Sanitarium. I just want to clean up a couple of the quests, and then we'll get started on the actual missions themselves. Don't want to waste anybody's time, by doing this. But this will give you a pretty good idea of what it actually game looks like if you're not familiar. It's very brown in Post-Searing, or at least Post-Searing Ascalon, FYI. And something else that I should make mention is that, if you could get away with actually soloing an area, you probably should, simply for the fact that you share your drops with your team, even if they're AI, whether or not they're heroes or henchmen. So it's like if a monster drops 100 gold right now, and I can have a max party size of 4, which we have here, I'm going to end up sharing that gold pile. It's going to be split 4 different ways, so I'm only going to get a portion of it. And the way it works is you don't see them, but eventually these individual people here will get their own drops. So that's why we'll have like a reduced drop rate. Okay, so I have to go way over there. You know what? I think what I'll do is I'll just run. I do have like a whole bunch of items that help me out here. Like I've got these birthday cupcakes. I got a couple stacks of them. So I think in the interest of actually just hurrying up, we're just going to pop one because that makes me run faster. It's really good for map exploration, obviously. Although if you look at the cartographer titles on the wiki, it actually says that it's kind of a bad thing to increase your movement speed, because there's a good chance that you might actually end up running over something you didn't, or missing something because you're running too fast, basically. I'm not worried about it. I'd rather run a little faster here. It's going to work out to our benefit a little bit more while finishing up these quests. I'm trying to think about that. There was something else I really wanted to make mention about the first video that I put out, where I was explaining some of the information that I was just wrong. Okay, so if you see this this guy up here, this monster that's got the glow, he's a boss. If you see glow around him, that means they're bosses. And then every time you beat a boss, it does two things. One is it gives you this +2 to your morale. This is your morale thing up here. You get increased health and energy. You can have, I think, up to +15% if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. But if you die, you lose 15%. So, for instance, if I had no morale right now, I would be -15% if I died. So you just be aware of that. Obviously, you get lesser hit points and energy and whatnot, and if you're in a really hard area, it makes it extremely difficult. But every time you kill a boss, it gives you +2. So the other thing it does when you kill a boss is that you have these skills. Like, for instance, if we go in my skills, I can't change it unless I'm in a town. But we have these resurrection signets. A lot of these, like, res spells, the resurrection spells, you can only use them once per map, okay? I believe it's once per map. Maybe it's once per instance session. I don't remember. But anyways, if you use it, basically, you'll get it back as soon as you kill a boss. I'm gonna have to double check on the whole... I know that if somebody dies and then you respawn somewhere else, like they'll come back to health or come back to life. Okay, so this is what the crest reward is. I get two of these spells. I'm not sure if I actually have them yet. Okay, no. We'll equip them later because we don't need them. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's take off the primary quest right now. Right, so we have to go through the breach here. There's a supply column. I need to help them. They're actually kind of close to Pike and Square, so we'll go ahead and take care of that. And we can take a look at the quest rewards, so I get 2 more skills and a little bit of experience. So the max level here is 20, and every time post to level 20 is basically you just get another skill point. So if we go into my hero tab here, that's what the skill points is. So it's important that you actually continue to level up. You know, you really want to pay attention to your experience points and doing that whatnot, because, you know, when you're trying to fill in new skills later on, you're going to need those skill points. And also, in order to get the elite skills, you basically have to buy these signets of capture. And once you kill the boss that has the skill that you want, like their corpse, you just do the signet of capture and you get their elite skill. That's the way it works. You can only have one elite skill at a time, unless, of course, you have... There's like some gamey ways of doing it. Like, there's a couple elite skills that that like doubles up, or like you get to kind of steal a monster's elite skill. So you could potentially have more than one, or at least for that map, for that session, or that instance. But that's about it. And not only that, but the more skills you buy, the more expensive they get. For instance, I bought a couple of skills in this character, and they started off at like 80 gold or something like that. 80 gold plus a skill point. Every other skill, I think it's multiplicative, if I'm not mistaken. I think the way it works. Eventually, skills, they'll cap out at 1 platinum, meaning 1,000 gold, and 1 skill point. So it's probably best when you start off in Post-Searing that you don't actually go up to the skill trainer and buy a bunch of skills. If you have tomes, you should use those first, because they don't take skill points and they obviously don't cost you any money. They'll basically allow you to acquire skills that you've already unlocked in other characters. Or you do these quests. There's a whole bunch of quests in this game that actually give you the skills. So that's why you got to be really careful about buying skills. You don't want to waste the skill points. It's better just to, you know, wait. Okay, so we know... The guy's way over here. Okay. I don't remember the way the supply column actually ended up picking. When I was walking over here, I was actually in the middle of doing it, but then something happened and I wasn't paying attention or something like that, and fucking supply column died. One of the things about playing a Mesmer, you know, if you get these interruption spells, you got to make sure that when you see the little bar here, when the activation bar of the monster or the foe that you're going to be fighting, that's actually doing the skill, you want to make sure that you're on top of that. And if you see these like little purple triangular things pointing down, that means they're some kind of hex. If they're pointing up, they're obviously some sort of like enchantment or like a boon. So, like, he's trying to do ignite arrows. You gotta be really quick on it if you're going to be interrupting people. That's why, you know, it's said in a few areas that, like, the Mesmer is kind of a hard class to play. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing. Right now, it's like we're playing in a really low difficulty area. I mean, we're not even supposed to be level 20. As a matter of fact, if we take a look at the map, generally speaking, You come down here to Kryta, you end up working your way through Kryta, and then over here is the Maguma jungle, and like somewhere right around here is where you get level 20 normally. So it's kind of irregular for me to be level 20 just starting off in this area. The other thing I should probably make mention is that, you know, there are people, like players, and then there are like guilds, whole guilds that are focused on just staying pre-searing. I don't really understand it. I mean, I understand that the drop rates are better there, especially if you die, but I would personally, I don't really understand why you'd stay in pre-searing because, well, I mean, other than what I just mentioned, it's like there's only so much content there, there's only so much to do. I do have to apologize for anybody that was hoping that I was going to record or live stream the pre-searing portion of the game. You know, I was originally planning on doing it because I wasn't planning on doing the whole Legendary Defender of Ascalon title. But that's one of those titles that has really eluded me, like I was saying, and I really wanted to get it. I was just so focused on getting it, so I went ahead and did it. And that's why you guys didn't really see much of the pre-searing content. Not only that, but pre-searing, if you start your character off in Prophecies, I mean, you're going to see it for yourself anyways. It's basically like a tutorial island kind of thing. I don't really want to say tutorial island. I mean, even though that's technically kind of what it is, but it's not really an island for one, and for two, it's actually kind of long. I mean, if you take your time to do all the quests. So if you also notice that that guy's purple, he's a boss. He'll also have its own special name, so that's why we got the morale bonus here. Just a little quick FYI. Not really have to worry about this. We can just sit here and mow through these guys. Not a big deal. As a matter of fact, I could just sit back and let my little homeboys do it. Now, I'm not going to be gaining any experience because we're so far ahead on levels, but my level 15 guys might end up getting a little bit of experience. That's why I'm hoping to bring them along. Didn't really equip them with anything like too sexy, although I did have these that I put on Zenmai here. It was just something extra that I had laying around in my Zunlai stash. I know I went ahead and took a look at all of my other characters, and I've got some bomb-ass gear on them that I'll worry about actually equipping those later. I should make mention, too, that if you're planning on playing this game and doing pre-searing and all that, that you should, if you're going to do pre-searing, you need to hoard your char hides. Don't sell them. Don't salvage them. Don't sell them. Don't sell them to other players. Don't trade them to other people unless they're giving you something ridiculous. I know that the economy is completely different in pre-searing, but if you save them and you come over here when you start off in Ascalon City, well, you start out just outside of it, but when you go to Ascalon City, there's a collector there. There's a trader where if you trade like so many char hides, you get the oh shit, what is it? Like bolts of leather or something, or leather pieces. You get the one rare crafting material from it. I was a fool, and I think I always completely forget about that. And I think there may be something to do with a iris flower. Like when you meet Gwen for the first time, if you have a regular iris flower in your inventory, I think she says something about it. Maybe. I'm gonna have to double check on that. I think that there was actually a use for that in Post-Searing. Okay, so this supply train, we just need to basically walk them back to the entrance of Pike Square. So, I mean, it's a real good thing that we cleared out all the foes in the area before we did that, because otherwise we're going to have to slice and dice our way through them in order to do it. As far as like the ultimate build or like farming builds and stuff for my character, I don't have any elite skills. I swear, I think I have like maybe 2 or 3 elite Mesmer skills and maybe a couple Elementalist skills. Oh, and that's what I mentioned. That's what I completely forgot about, and I'm glad I remembered. I misspoke in my first video. My main character, the one that I started off with, the one that I completed all the content with, my Monk Necromancer, I didn't get all of the skills. What I meant to say is I've got all of the Monk and Necromancer skills from all the campaigns. Unless, of course, there's unique or elite skills that were only available in Eye of the North, and I didn't get those. That's what I meant to say. So basically, when you hit level 20 and you get up to a certain level, you can change your class. So right now, like it's showing a Mesmer Elementalist. You can change your secondary class to whatever you want. It costs, I think, some sort of fee. I don't know. If I remember correctly, I think it was like 8 platinum to change your secondary class. But there's another title available to it. So if we go into the title screen here, there's a title involved with it where it's like some sort of like Grandmaster Skill Hunter or something like that, where you have to get every class's skill. And the one thing that incentivizes you for it is because you can change your secondary, you know, when you get up to a certain point. And that's the whole reason why. Just wanted to make sure I clarified that. I'm pretty sure I have every single Monk, Necromancer, and Dervish skills. I think I have all of the Assassin skills too, maybe. Quartermaster. Where the hell is this person? Oh, it's right here. Okay. Get some skills. Obviously, I already had Ice Spikes. So what else we have here? Duke's Daughter. Okay, that's in DSO Lowlands. Don't care about that. Fuck. Okay, so let's go down to Fort Rannoch. We'll go ahead and take care of this other quest. Not sure exactly what are we looking for. Deliver Pharaoh's message to Littlethorn. Roger Dodger. Actually, there was another quest over there for Pike and Square. Oops. I always hated going to this place because it's got some really weird layout. And so when I was, you know, wandering around and whatnot, you know, I did collect a whole bunch of the trophies and whatever. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, whether or not I'm going to sell them. I mean, obviously they're not really worth anything as far as the collectors go. The lunar tokens are because we're doing this in the middle of the Canthan Festival. But these trophies, I'm not sure if I actually want to sell them or if I want to salvage them. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. So try to figure that out later. I was just kind of keeping them in my inventory because they're stacking, and I know we're going to have to go through this entire area to finish up some of these quests and to do the missions. So, you know, what the hell, if they stack, why not? Okay. So, this dude is like way the fuck over here, unfortunately. So we've got quite a ways to walk. There's always this char group here that ends up trolling these Ascalonian warriors. It's okay. People mow through these guys pretty quickly. I really don't need to be walking around with this full group, especially this big-ass full group, you know, got the level 20 guy and 2 level 15s. Could probably just be doing it myself, but I'm really just trying to push my way through it as quick as possible, that's why. Not really worried or concerned about drops. I'm like generally not worried or concerned about drops now anyways, because most of the drops you get here are pretty fucking shit anyways. And the gold isn't that great. Like, it's better just to wait for that stuff. Like, I'm waiting for some of the later dungeons and the later content in this campaign before I actually start, like, farming and really giving a shit about it. Not to say that, you know, if something drops, I will go and pick it up. I'm just saying that, like, you know, I'm not really going to go out of my way to smash my way through all these, like, little enemies. Besides, some of these guys are really annoying. Like these scorpion bug type things. They just fucking appear out of nowhere. If you take a look at our little mini map here, they're just gonna show up. Come on. You know what? Let's go ahead and pop another birthday cupcake. The other good thing about actually using stuff like that is it gives you points towards a title. I think it's like the Sweet Tooth title. You have to eat a whole bunch of sweets. I would very much like to actually max out a bunch of titles in this game. There are a couple titles that you really actually want to max out because there are some fringe benefits. There's like the Treasure Hunter title where you have to open a bunch of the higher end chests. Although I'm pretty sure that the description is wrong. It's misleading. It's not higher end chests. It's just I bought keys. Like if we find an Ascalonian chest here, this key will open it up, or a lockpick will open it up. The steel keys are going to be for the northern Shiver Peak area, and this is going to be for over here. But I'm pretty sure that if you open up those, they count towards your treasure hunter. And then there's the wisdom title, which you have to identify. I don't know if purple items count, but I know gold items count. So if we take a look at my hero screen here, or my title screen here, so we got treasure hunter, and then we have, let's see, your seeker of wisdom. Okay, so purple items do count. 250 rare items. And basically what those do is that they increase they do two things. Number one, if you buy lock picks, which I wouldn't recommend doing until you're pretty late in the game because they're expensive, but you can use a lockpick on any locked chest, right? And basically, I think... Oh, that motherfucker died? Am I supposed to just go to his corpse? No, he just... I'm not sure if that was supposed to happen or not. We're by the entrance. Anyways, the lockpick... I think the way the lockpick mechanic might have worked is like... Either you have a percentage chance of actually opening the thing, the box. There we go, there's a chest right there. I think it's basically kind of like the way lockpicks worked in like the Bethesda games, where if you use them, there's a percentage chance that they'll actually break. And the more treasure hunting and wisdom skill you get will decrease your chances of breaking the thing, I think, if I'm not mistaken. There's another benefit for it too. It's like, oh, what is it? It's your salvaging. So there's different kinds of salvage kits. And for instance, if you guys, well, actually you didn't see that, so maybe I should say if you remember, but so you have these armor that the enemies drop, like this Char Shaman dropped his Shaman garb, and basically what that does, what the fuck, how the fuck do I get around here? I thought I was able to get around. Anyways, like if they turn out blue or purple or gold, that means that they have runes attached to them, and if you want the rune, you have to use the appropriate salvage kit. A regular salvage kit isn't going to be able to get you the runes or the inscriptions or the other crafting element of that item, of that weapon or whatever. So then you get like the expert salvage kits. Basically, like the expert salvage kits, you have a percentage when you use them about whether or not it's going to break the original item. So it's like if I really wanted to keep the Shaman Guard but take out the rune, there's a percentage chance that if I used a regular expert kit on it, that the original item would break. What the fuck? Just trying to go around, man. Okay, never mind. Excellent. Just have to actually investigate his corpse. So anyways, those two titles will give you an increased chance that you're not going to break the original item just using the cheapy expert salvage kit. As a matter of fact, if I could show you guys, it might be available right now. I'm not sure. Let me double check. Let's go over here to the merchant. Not sure if they sell them yet. Expert salvage kits. And then there's other ones. There's even higher ones than that. And there's also higher identification kits. Actually, they do the same thing. It's just you get more of them. And then there's the lucky and unlucky titles. I don't remember if those actually have any benefits to them. I'm not entirely sure. But long story short is that I really would like to max out some of these titles. There are going to be plenty of titles that I'm definitely not going to want to totally max out because they're really fucking grindy. Destroy the Char Forest besieging Pike and Square. Okay. Also, so some of these things, I actually really need more bolts of cloth here. because I used a whole bunch to actually craft my armor. The other thing too. Okay, that's not good. So if we take a look here, it has that suffix of enchanting, and I believe the maxed out one is 20%, so you always want to pay attention to that. Okay, let's go ahead and sell this garbage. Okay, can't sell those because I took those off of Zenmai. So what I'll do, let's go to my chest here. Not going to go through my chest with a fine-tooth comb, by the way. You guys don't really need to know the contents of it, but I almost got maxed out money and whatnot. Got a lot of ectoplasm, all the good stuff. Lots of good stuff. And of course, I have a whole lot of other items on all of my other characters, the ones I'm not actually using. Just kind of using them as mules for the most part. That's kind of the other reason why you want to have these heroes, is because they're a really good way of stashing weapons and whatnot that you just don't have room for on your actual character's inventory. Sorry, I'm like sitting here thinking about like 8 other things at once. Char Captain. Okay, so that's got the 2% there because some of your bosses aren't actually named, or they don't have the color around them. Well, and then every time you rezone to a new area or into a town or whatever, you lose that bonus. But I think if you stay out in the wilderness, basically you keep it, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the way it worked. Hammer and Anvil. My troops are moving to sweep in behind the Char War band led by Grim Sharpfang. Okay. I think we could probably manage to do that. It's over here in the breach somewhere. Which means that we're going to have to walk all the way back. Sure. I'm telling you. Let me just do these little quests out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and take care of our first mission. Unfortunately, what I'm going to have to do is walk my nappy ass back, but again, that's why I have these birthday cupcakes. They help out with that. I will say that when it comes to actually doing the missions, I do plan on doing all of the bonuses. I will not do the cartography stuff. I'll do that on my own, because that'd be incredibly boring. I know it would be incredibly boring for me to watch if I was just watching somebody complete their map. So the way it works is that, you see all like this like grayed out shit up here. Like there's a potential that you can actually explore it, and it'll remove like this kind of like foggy, murky turbidity, and it's incredibly boring to watch because it's just basically me scraping along the edges. And I am using that one mod, technically speaking, the Cartography Made Easy, that are got links and descriptions down there in the description zone, so if you guys want to check that out for yourselves. Just want to make sure that I have complete transparency, of course. Okay, so I need to stop doing the ones that look like a helmet. I need to do the other ones, the ones that look like a burlap sack. Because I need those bolts of cloth. Right, I can just straight up buy them. It's not a big deal. I mean, I've got like maxed out money. Buy anything, what the hell I want to. I do have to say, oh wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's down here. Originally it showed up like way over here. Okay. Not a problem. Got this boss here. We're not going to start seeing the elite skills till later on. By the way, I mean, so if people are like, well, why aren't you equipping the Signet of Capture? Because they're low-level bosses, that's why. So anyways, the last time I played, last time I really played was 2011. That's probably what I meant to say in the first video. I did keep the game installed on my machine in 2012, but I really didn't play. I had moved to a whole new area, and I was starting grad school, I had my fill of Guild Wars at the time because I played it really heavily in 2011, for at least the first half of 2011, and by that point I was just kind of done. I just kind of like logged in a perfunctory fashion, just out of routine, but I didn't really do anything. So the last time I really played was 2011, and I do have to say that it's interesting how much the economy has changed. I noticed that a lot of people trade shit in this game based upon ectoplasm, and the ectoplasm is a rare crafting material you get out this really hard dungeon called the Underworld, that you need very specific builds to actually do, and the monsters only have a chance of actually dropping the fucking things. So that's pretty much what it is. I haven't really seen many people advertising items and whatnot just based upon gold prices or platinum prices. It's all been prices based on ectoplasm. Just really interesting. And I heard somebody talking about this, like, I think 2 nights ago when I was on. See, somebody else must have what I was doing, is play the game, you know, once upon the time, and they came back in and started playing. And been like, well, what the fuck is up with these prices? And the reason why is because this game's lost a lot of its player base. So it just had a whole different supply and demand. And apparently the ectoplasm replaced the regular shit. Whatever. So here's our boss that we want to kill. Let's go ahead and slap some empathy on him. Interrupt his troll engine. I'm gonna have to double check on the actual car chargers. I'm not sure if those are actually good for anything other than selling. Silver's kit on the armor. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We only want to do it on the burlap sack shits. So return to Duke Baronin for your reward. All right. Pretty sure the Great Northern Wall is the first mission in the series. Go ahead and take care of that. Oop. Looks like Vigo here has a quest for us. Garfaz Bloodfang. So we have to go to DS of Lowlands. Alright, well, we'll worry about that when we actually get there. Let's actually go to the merchant and sell some shite. Looks like my salvage kit's about to run out, so we'll buy another one. And then we'll sell some stuff here. Okay, so those were... I don't remember if those... I don't remember if those, these affixes, if I could actually salvage those or not. Let me double check. I don't remember the way it worked, if you can do it on blue items or not. So we'll just go ahead and do it. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's your expert, and then here's your perfect. Perfect, I think, guarantees, or at least it severely ups your chances of actually not breaking the item. But I'm just going to do this, so I can actually take it out. I can do it on the war axe, or the war hammer, but not on the air staff. Okay. I'm not sure if the double adrenaline gain 10% is max or not. I'm not sure. I'll double check that later. So what we'll do is we'll just dump our cloth in here, and I guess we'll sell the staff. Oh, the other thing I should make mention is that I did some trading. Got myself a heavy equipment pack here to replace the small one. So we got a lot more spaces there if we really want to, you know, go out there and start farming for items. We want to sell the air staff. Okay. So tell you what, we have been at this for about 45 minutes. I think I'm going to take a quick break before we start our missions. I think this is a pretty good start. We managed to clear out some of these, you know, random post-Searing Ascalon quests. The primary quest, let's see here. Yeah, that's northern shit. That's Sundocks. Zach. Great Northern Wall. Okay, so that's the primary quest there. Rida. Borderless Pass. Okay, so we want the Defend of the Wall quest. Whichever one you have highlighted is the one that you're going to get the updates on. So I'll tell you what we're going to do is we'll go to the Great Northern Wall, and we'll get set up here. And we'll talk to Squire Zachary here in just a moment. So I will be right back where we continue our campaign in Prophecies.